with life in the country, with the possibility of being useful to people to whom it is easy to do good, and who are not accustomed to have it done to them. Then work which one hopes may be of some use, then rest, nature, books, music, love for one's neighbor. Such is my idea of happiness. And then, on top of all that, you for a mate, and children perhaps. What more can the heart of a man desire?
Into the Wild is a 2007 American biographical drama and survival movie, written and directed by Sean Penn. It is an adaptation of the novel by Jon Krakauer, bestseller in 1997. The movie is inspired by the true story of Christopher McCandless, a promising new graduate man of West Virginia, who, after graduation, obtained only to meet parents' expectations, decides to embark on a long 2-year journey through the United States to achieve his dream, Alaskan wilderness. Jon Krakauer was born on April 12, 1945, in Brookline, famous writer and American mountaineer, where he cultivates from an early age his passion for the nature and mountain. This passion for adventure and for the extreme leads him to become a professional climber, succeeding in several challenges, such as climbing the western side of Cerro Torre in Patagonia. He is also known for his participation on the 1996 Everest expedition. In 1983, when he decides to work as a freelance journalist, he comes across the story of Christopher McCandless, which he turns later into a book. Touched by the story, Jon Krakauer writes a long article for Outside magazine, arousing great success thanks to Chris' family's help. The book is a result of 3 years of researches and interviews with family members and people who knew Christopher, with the aim to understand what may have pushed him to give up his life and looking for himself into the wild. It is a dramatic and adventure book that shows not only the human desire of family and communion with the others, but also the research of happiness and truth. It is a masterpiece, a strong and poignant story that makes me think and realize on what is really important in our life. It is an exciting book, full of mystery and raw intimacy. It faces important topics: the role of wildness in the American imaginary, human bonds and the conflict between individualism and the need of love and closeness. The story does not only recount the exterior part of a man and his adventure in the world, but also his inner experience, the desire of intangible things, and wisdom occurred through new moments and experiences. I have chosen this book because I empathize with the story, and reading it let me see things in a different light. Like, for example, try to live in the best possible way. After graduation, Christopher is invaded by a sense of oppression due to the complicated relationship with his family. For this reason, he runs away from the consumerist and capitalist society, decides to undertake a long journey across the United States, renouncing to all his belongings and donating his savings to charity. Since leaving, Chris decides to change his identity under the pseudonym of Alexander Supertramp, pushed by the desire of freedom and self-discovery, influenced by no-conformist authors like Thoreau and London. During his long journey to the north, he encounters many characters, and everyone leaves him something. An hippie couple with same principles became his second family.
It's funny how things happen at particular times.
young treasure of South Dakota, allows him to work for a short period in his field.
I'm going to Alaska.
Alaska? Or City, Alaska?
I'm gonna be all the way out there.
Yes.
In the wild.
Tracy, an hippie teenager who shows interest in Chris, and at least Ron, an elderly veteran close in his memories, who provides him all the necessary equipment to go to Alaska.
But you're wrong if you think that the joy of life comes principally from human relationships. God's placed it all around us. It's in everything, in anything we can experience. People just need to change the way they look at those things.
Yeah, I'm going to take stock of that. No, I am. I am.
So Chris achieves his goal. After 2 years of a wild life far away from the modern society, he arrives in Alaska, where he starts appreciating nature around him, arousing him an incredible emotion. According to Chris, happiness is experiencing new things, not just owning material things. Happiness is only real when shared. After 5 months of extreme life in the wilderness, living in a ballinated bus called Magic Bus, feeding on the flesh of animals and berries, Chris decides to return home. In the meantime, in fact, Chris seems to have measured with thoughts of reconciliation and seems ready to come back to his family and society. Finally, when Chris seems convinced to end his journey, he eats by mistake some poisoned berries, leading him to a slow and painful death. It is just in the September of 1992 that Chris' body is found. The movie adaptation differs from the book in several points. Sean Penn has been able to recount with simplicity the story of Chris without making him look like a modern hero. The director does not report the story by following a chronological order, but he uses flashback between past and present. The idea of the director is to remain faithful to what Chris McCandless has done, seen and thought, mixing in the same time images of great beauty, like breathtaking sceneries, using the authentic locations, actors and no actors with a raw realism, as if it was a documentary. This makes the movie the most real possible. The story is told exclusively by the narration of Corinne McCandless, Chris' sister, who goes through brother's life, both in the moments before graduation and during his trip, citing some phrases from Chris' favorite books. In contrast with the movie, in which the story is focused exclusively on the protagonist, in the book the story is narrated through newspaper articles and interviews, including also some of the author's personal experiences. In the book, the character of Tracy is barely mentioned, while in the film it has an important role. The book goes into details of Chris' childhood, while the movie starts with his graduation ceremony. The book ends with a visit of the parents to the Magic Bus, while the movie ends with the death of the protagonist. As Chris thought, it is important in life not to be strong, but to feel strong, to measure yourself at least once. If you want something in life, reach out and grab it. And if you think that the joy of life comes principally from the joy of human relationships, God places it all around us. It is in everything and anything we can experience. People just need to change the way they look at things.